We walk briskly down the passageway, trying not to make any noise. I want to break into a run, but that would only attract the dead, and we'd end up even worse off than we are already. Holding our breath, Noel-sensei and I make our way even deeper into the darkness below. Whoa. Ceiling? Yep. No, that's not her. That's just a regular school uniform, I think. And plus the hair isn't blue, yeah. It's a scene my eyes can scarcely believe. Yeah, I think this might also be a stage in Melty Blood, right? Looks oddly familiar. A vaulted cavity, some 40 meters high. The floor is carefully polished. The ceiling is supported by numerous pillars. Gray sunlight leaks in through the window-like hole in the center of the ceiling. It's almost like a Jacob's ladder peeking through the gaps in the clouds. And there, directly under the path of the falling sunlight, is a solitary altar. There's a girl lying on that stone slab. She's surrounded by a countless number of the dead. There must be at least 30 or so of them gathered in this vaulted room. They're all loitering around the altar, as though forming a ring around it. Since none of them are actually approaching it, I'm guessing that it has some sort of significance to them. The two of us stay hidden in the corridor, taking in the situation inside the room without actually stepping out into it. Since the dead all have their attention focused on the altar, they haven't noticed our arrival. The fact may represent a rare stroke of luck for us, but this situation is something I didn't see coming at all. We're too far away to get a good look at the girl's face, but I can at least tell she's alive. There are no traces of blood on her uniform. She has been put to sleep unharmed on the altar. If I had to guess why, it's so that they can devour her later. Nonsense, Noel. We can do this. A voice calls out to me from behind. Faced with that stark reality, I bite my lip. What Noel-sensei said is right. Could I skirt around the wall so that those cadavers don't notice me and save her? I might be able to make it that far, but then what? Am I going to be able to escape while carrying her? All the way from that altar back to the entrance? It's impossible. It's utterly unrealistic. I need to stop daydreaming and drum the limits of what I can accomplish into my head. Yeah, it's time to think like an anime protagonist. We gotta do the impossible. Is it really impossible? There's a weapon in my hand, as there should be. The limits of what I can accomplish. Is running away really all I can do? It's true that it'll be almost impossible for me to save her, but that's not the same as being absolutely impossible. There's still a chance, no matter how slight, that she can be saved.
ちょっと、Shiki-kun? 先生は通路の方に隠れて、柱に隠れながらできるだけ近寄ります。
Time to do a fucking Metal Gear Solid sneaking mission.
やめなさいってば、真っ青な顔で震えながら何言っちゃってるの?
Fighting back my hesitation, I stare at the altar in the center of the vaulted room. I didn't come here to risk my life to save her. I didn't come here planning to save people at all, but to kill that vampire. Even so, I can't just let someone die right in front of me. I'm being inconsistent. I'm contradicting myself. Even in a place like this, I'm not able to fully commit to something. But still. To save a human, I'll kill those things with the human form. I realize that what I'm doing is disgraceful, that I'm just selfishly trying to prove my usefulness, to deceive myself, to run away from the guilt that's weighing down on me. I can no longer deny that I'm a good for nothing. But even if that's true, I still want to do what I can. If I run away here, then I'll be nothing more than a murderer, a worthless individual. There's no way a person like that could ever hope to atone for their sins. I take off my glasses. I look directly at the death of the gathered dead. A headache grips through my temple. Taking a deep breath and stifling the pain in my head, I begin to creep toward the closest pillar. God, Noelle, what the fuck? I react instantaneously. As the sound starts to reverberate through the room, I break into a run. Before the zombies turn toward the source of the sound, toward the entryway we're standing in front of, I'm going to eliminate the obstacles that stand in my way. I have to eliminate them. I don't have the luxury of moving safely from pillar to pillar anymore. Thanks, Noelle. Now that I've been noticed, I'm going to take the shortest route to the altar. Straight line. I take an extremely deep breath. Having run as fast as I could, I rest my body against the altar. What I did was a clear and premeditated act of murder. I hold back the urge to vomit. In a backhand grip, I hold the knife that sliced through their lines, through their lives. The dead gathered around have finally noticed our intrusion, and I can hear their voices calling out behind me. I don't have the time to turn around. I prop up the body of the unfamiliar schoolgirl who had been laid to sleep on the altar. What I'm about to do may be a little barbaric, but if I don't give her a slap and wake her up, there's no way we'll be able to escape from... Oh, cool. I unconsciously let out a startled yelp. This unfamiliar schoolgirl was already awake before I got here. The girl speaks in a faltering voice, and she's looking up at me with unease in her eyes. I don't have time to explain the situation to her. I take her hand and help her out of the altar. I take her hand and help her off the altar. Good, it seems that she can walk on her own. The problem now is... how are we gonna get around these guys? How do we break through the ring of corpses surrounding us? I wonder if the dead don't want to approach the altar for some reason. They're just standing there, hemming us in as they keep an eye on us. How long will this last? Staying here isn't safe. We don't have any other choice but to break through. I have to make a path, not just for me, but also for her. In order to do that, I'll have to go on the offense against these zombies. Are you gonna fight now? Yeah, pull out that staff. Do something, church girl. Wham! The thunderous sound of her strike echoes through the room. A body goes soaring through the air above like a sack of garbage. Realizing that it's one of the dead that was standing by the entrance. Awesome. The woman I knew as my teacher has transformed into an outrageous sight before my very eyes. There you go. There's the non-fit. With a whoosh, she swings her long-handled weapon around like a whirlwind. What happened to that clothes that she was wearing a second ago? Noelle-sensei, now dressed in a nun's habit, begins to rip and tear her way through the herd of the dead. Want some doom shit. My jaw is on the floor. Her long-handled weapon in hand, the nun tramples the dead as though dancing. Yeah, she over there breakdancing with that staff. Go ahead, girl, talk your shit. She has a wide smile on her face and a sparkle in her eyes. The hem of her skirt is whipping this way and that, and she's even upping the fan service by blowing a cheeky kiss to the audience here and there. Those are deliberate acts that make me want to shout, "Act your age," at her. As a result of the scuffle, no, the spectacle unfolding around Noel-sensei, the dead turn away from the altar to face this new threat. Noel-sensei is on a rampage, not even bothering to pay attention to the dead's movements. After carving a path through the dead, she arrives at the altar. The weapon clutched in her hand is some sort of steel spear, almost 2 meters long. Just below the tip of the spear is an axe-like blade. I guess that makes this a halberd of some sort. Noel-sensei gives her halberd a stout swing to flick off the flesh and blood clinging to the tip. That thing's made of solid steel. Just looking at it, it doesn't seem like the sort of thing she would be able to swing around with those slender arms of hers. Yeah, clearly. With the cheerfulness of someone who's cast their troubles to the wind, Noel-sensei charges into the group of the dead. One by one, they are all sliced in half, their bodies sent flying. She mercilessly looses great spikes of iron at the dead that try to escape. Her long spear darts at any dead that dare approach, skewering them. When it comes to being abnormal, she beats the dead hands down. I call out to stop her, but she doesn't pay attention. Scattering the dead that are clustered around her, Noel-sensei bounds away to a spot where even more of them are gathered. At that moment, I notice that my hand is being held tightly. It's the schoolgirl who is lying on the altar. She's staring apprehensively at what's going on around us. I look over her hand. I've decided it's probably a better idea to wait here and let Noel-sensei exterminate the dead than to try and make a break for it. Suddenly, a chill runs down my spine. It's cold. It's not just my imagination either. The temperature down here is clearly dropped. Looking down at my feet, I can see frost starting to blink at the floor. Yeah, hearing all that racket, Vlav is probably walking around, seeing the fucking spectacle that's going on. As the air grows colder, the dead also start to become more agitated. It's almost as if they're afraid of something. Oh, that's like the JoJo ending. I only just realized it, but the blood from the pulverized dead is oozing through the pattern engraved on the floor, like some sort of ritual to summon something terrible. It wasn't me who called out to Sensei, but the female student next to me. But those words don't reach her. The woman in nun's clothing, intoxicated by the blood spraying everywhere, is only paying attention to the dead that she's pulverizing. Who are you? The female student's voice finally makes it through to Noel-sensei. Because she's been focused on the dead to the exclusion of all else, her body is left defenseless. And is engulfed by the flames erupting from the depths of the passageway, incinerated along with the dead around her. Oh god. It was a sudden, decisive blow. Blue flames plow over her like a freight train. It's the same phosphorescent fire I saw in the hotel. That kind only burns human bodies. The fire doesn't just burn her. It transforms into a hand made of red flames that grabs her body and drags her, a pitiful sacrifice toward the source of the flames, toward the entryway to one of the passageways leading who knows where. Oh god. In that entryway stands the figure of the vampire himself. Look at that smile on his face, holy shit. Vlav, a blood-sucking demon that burned the guests at the hotel to ashes. He clutches the woman to his chest, just as he did back then. Engulfed by the blue flames, the woman screams. The dead have already been carbonized, but the woman is still in one piece. The reason is obvious. If he burned her, he wouldn't be able to suck her warm blood. Uh-oh. Do something! You called her a rookie before I help her! Her scream echoes through the air. Her habit is ripped, exposing her appetizing neck. That is where the vampire rests his fangs, as though to cover her back up. My consciousness sharpens. It feels like time is standing still. I won't make it. There's absolutely no way I can make it in time. That's an obvious truth that anyone, even the female student standing next to me, can see. Even if I start running, it won't change anything. Even if I sprint, it's already too late. Fuck, okay, save as always. Ah, you see Ciel right there? That means we've reached Ciel route. Hell yeah. Anyway, I will save Noelle. At least try. Do something. I can't abandon her. She's going to have her blood sucked by that vampire. Just picturing it kicks my nervous system into overdrive. I can't allow that. I may not have a reason why, but I just can't stand to let it happen. My legs start moving on their own. I've stopped superfluous things like breathing. I feel the faint touch of fingertips brush against me, of someone beside me trying to hold me back, but they don't manage it in time. Of course they don't. I start moving faster than even my thoughts could keep up. I feel like something bad's gonna happen. However, I'm too far away. My human legs are too slow. The vampire's open mouth is like that of a carnivorous plant. Like a giant leech, he latches onto the base of her neck with a wet squelch. Oh no. The woman's body convulses, the sound of her life being wrung out. Glug, glug, glug. The foul sound of him swallowing worms its way through my ears and into my brain. With that, my consciousness snaps. This makes the second time I've seen someone treated as food before my eyes. How dare you, how dare you, how dare you, how dare you! You repulsive moving corpse, I'll kill you dead right here and now. Without even realizing it, I've come within arm's reach of them. Vlav is unaware of my presence. He's in the middle of an affair with a woman. The solitary, frail human right in front of him doesn't even merit a thought. That's just fine by me. I slice off his left arm. I'm taking a detour, but I don't have much of a choice. His neck is too far away. I can't strike to his chest because the woman is in the way, so instead I cut down the arm that held her to him. She falls to the ground, along with the vampire's arm. Out of the corner of my eye, I confirm that she's still breathing. After that inconceivable amputation, the vampire returns to his senses. He immediately swings his remaining right arm down toward where I stand at his flank. His reaction speed is incredible. But his movements are too simple. His counterattack falls within the realm of human capabilities. I can dodge something like that. Without losing my momentum, I drop toward the ground. The monster's claws graze my hair. His neck is too far away. His chest is also just out of reach. In that case, I'll take the sure option and slide my knife through the line that runs down his right flank. Yaga. Another person's blood spurts in the air. I didn't manage to sever the line, but I definitely cut along it. The part of him is already done for. Whatever ability to regenerate himself he may have, unless he can overcome death, that wound will never heal. I can do this. I can go around to the vampire's back. He's unable to understand what I'm doing to him. My eyes can kill him. At this rate, I can kill him outright. I'm thrilled at my own cold-heartedness. I shiver at the chill that runs from my feet all the way up to my spine. The creaking of my ankles as I move makes me feel alive. This is the moment of truth. Okay. Save again. You got this, right? Press on. Fight on. I continue to press on. With that one-time, split-second advantage, it's enough. Just one more step, and I can cut the lines on his chest. Immortality and the like are but primitive delusions. It doesn't matter how special you are. Each and every creature, without exception, has death woven into them. Oh god. But I don't even get the chance to swing my knife. The instant my foot touches the ground, my body heat drains through it like into the floor. My blood stops flowing, my muscles stop moving. Oh lord. I can't hold my breath any longer. And as I inhale, my mouth and throat are torn into pieces. Well damn. Maybe like that mysterious girl that we saved is Ciel, and doesn't she have like a no, I'm thinking of Noelle that has like the fire properties to the knife. Maybe she'll just like hold that up to my body and it'll like melt away and it'll be like, ah, all better. And then we do like a Mario and Luigi style bros attack and fuck of lava up, right? That's totally what's gonna happen after this, right? Right? The vampire says something. Just as the feeling in my limbs is slipping away, so too is my sense of hearing. But my eyeballs are still intact. They haven't sustained any injuries. I glare at the gloating vampire, but the lines have faded from my view. The fingers I had wrapped around the knife are crumbling and flaking away. Crack. A sound like that of glass sculpture shattering reverberates inside my brain. It wasn't transmitted through my eardrums so much as through my bones. Damn. KO. That's what thinking like an anime protagonist does to you, I guess. Folded. Like an omelet. Ugh. I can't see anything. Only an unbroken expanse of swirling white. Almost as if I'd been caught in the middle of a snowstorm. Ironic since we just turned to fucking ice. Hilarious.
A few moments later.
Take a breath. I begin breathing again. My blood starts to take in oxygen. Don't forget, he's almost certainly radiating an intense heat. Any normal living being would be normally wounded just by approaching him. I already got a taste of that once, back at the hotel. But it's too late. Phosphorescence lights up my ankles. They start to lose feeling. Jump. I try as hard as I can to jump to the side, but my body won't move. The creaking in my ankles earlier was a sign that my time has come. My bodily functions are deteriorating, not from an inflammation caused by the high temperature, but rather for some unidentifiable ailment. I look up, his blood-soaked coat is right in front of me. The vampire swings his right arm down, aiming for my face. I've lost. I can't do anything. I can't do anything, even in the face of such a simple attack. It isn't any faster than last time, but my body feels heavy. I can't move. I can't dodge. At this rate, I'll be crushed like a tomato in an instant he grabs my head. Hey, good save. However, before he can pluck Tonoshiki's ripe head, he He's interrupted by a bullet launched explosively from somewhere off to the side. That was a bullet just now. Maybe even some sort of rocket. I can't think of what else it could be. How else could it possibly have had the power to blow that vampire back almost 30 meters? Whatever it was, it saved me. I try and regain my footing while I have the chance. Yeah, this choreography sounds familiar. It's no use. My legs still feel heavy. I can't lift my shoes off the floor. It's as if they've been fused in place by the heat. My body remains low on oxygen after all the stress I've put it through. I still can't manage to take even a single step. As for my opponent, in my field of view, I can still see the figure of that vampire, standing unruffled even after being blown back toward the opposite wall, his right arm outstretched in front of him. This time, it's game over for sure. Terrified of my impending incineration, I reflexively shut my eyes. The heat never comes? Yeah! Guess who, bitches? When I open my eyes, the female student is standing in front of me. The flames unleashed by the vampire have come to a halt in front of her. Or rather, they're being repelled. The tongue of flame spewing toward us are repelled by an invisible wall, reaching neither me nor her. The schoolgirl is unfazed by the flames in front of her. I want to call out to her, but I can't abandon the collapsed Noel-sensei.
待って、動かないように。ノエル先生なら無事です。そのままでいれば目を覚まします。
I'm startled by her voice. It wasn't on my mind either, but that voice.
シエル先輩。
できれば最後の時まで秘密にしておきたかったんですけど。
Where'd you get that wig from? The female student brusquely puts on her glasses. That alone is enough to completely transform the unfamiliar girl's appearance. No, I simply never took a proper look at her face before. I think I just absent-mindedly wrote her off as some stranger. Oh, really? You didn't notice that? Wow, okay. Cool.
なんで？いや、それより先輩、
なぜはこちらのセリフです。まあ、こうなってしまった以上はどうでもいい問題ですが、あの金髪の神祖から来校者の話を聞いていませんか？
Dang, you know about me and her already? Executors? They're the church's heretic hunters dispatched to kill vampires. Is that who Ciel-senpai is? Then, does that mean Noel-sensei is as well? Come to think of it, Arcwade mentioned something about this. She said their policy is always to move in master-disciple pairs.
聞いているようですね。話が早くて助かります。
And I think we already know the relationship between the two as well.
そういうことですから、遠野くんはそのまま一歩も動かないように。後の処理は先生に代わって私がします。
Ciel-senpai turns away from me to face the vampire in the distance. I don't say anything to stop her. I want to ask her why. I can't see how senpai could possibly defeat that monster. Even so, the fact that she's just saved me forces to hold my tongue. Vlav lowers his arm, possibly recognizing that his hands of flame aren't working. He falls back to carefully observing the enemy before him.
だがしつけはなっていない。このような僻地まで足を運ぶとは飢えた獣そのものだ。代行者はいつから騙し討ちを好む獣になった。
飢えているのはあなたの方でしょう。どこの首都か知りませんが、名があるのなら名乗りなさい。後々 書類分けする時の目安にはなりますから。
名乗るほどの名はない。俺はこの通り棺一つで海を越えた復讐者だ。
棺一つ。先日所属不明の輸送船が沖合で遭難した案件がありましたが、あれはあなたでしたか？それは遠路はるばるご苦労様。故郷にはもう自由になる食料もありませんか？人種すら違う異国にまで遠征とは没落の極みですね。
She said it matter-of-factly, but it's a scathing provocation. Even I can see that she's trying to stir him up.
その通りだ、大公社。元より俺の国に食い物はない。城の倉庫はとうに空だ。人間どもも1世紀前に逃げ去った。貴様ら犬ですら俺の国には近寄らん。まさに草一つない不毛の地だが満ち足りている。このようなただれた町とはあまりに違いすぎる。
Unbelievable. Not only did he not rise to her provocation, but he's actually carrying on a normal conversation with a human. What makes this time different from the hotel? It's probably hunger, whether he has an empty stomach or not. It's clear even to me that right now, this guy's mind and body are both firing on all cylinders.
では何のためにこの町に？田舎者らしく製品が美徳なのでしょう？
この国に踏み入った理由は治療と復讐だ。俺は体を裂く苦しみから心を裂く苦しみから逃れるためにこの醜悪な町にやってきた。
気の利いた弁明を期待しましたが、用は上ですか？失望しました。名乗らずとも結構です。あなたは人間の血を吸いたくて仕方がない。どこにでもいる人に過ぎません。
Tell him how you really feel. I wonder what Vlav thinks of Senpai's words. In a matter of seconds, the intensity of his hostility and bloodthirsty aura skyrockets. He's staring at her with the same look in his eyes I saw back at the hotel.
汚れた大公社、お前は寒くはないのか？寒いと感じたことがないのか？お前には俺の苦しみがわからないのか？
ありません。熱も氷もとうの昔に過ぎ去りました。
そうか、難儀な女だ。ではその女の後を追え。貴様と交わす言葉はない。
The vampire points his right arm towards Senpai.
またファイヤーくらいですか？その程度の呪いで私が燃やせるとでも？
その程度。
His muttering has an edge to it, as if mocking his enemy's blunder.
それは一体どの程度だ？
This time, he unleashes the full force of his inferno. A river of flame gushes forth like water spewing from a broken dam. It's on an entirely different level to the hand from before. A turbid torrent that looks like it won't stop at simply engulfing Senpai, but it will keep going past her and swallow Noelle Sensei and me as well. So what you gonna do about it, Ciel? Faced by those overwhelming flames.
さて、これからどうしようかな。
She over there thinking. Senpai turns her back to the flames, musing to herself.
先輩、どうしようかなじゃなくて逃げないと。
Strategizing in the middle of getting engulfed. She is truly a badass.
あ、遠野くんには は説明していませんでしたね。
Do you have Gojo's Infinity or some shit?
ご安心のほど、魔術による発火なら私の体には通用しませんから。
Ah, fire resistant. Got it. Senpai clears her throat proudly and puffs out her chest. Sure enough, the river of flame has come to a dead stop in the face of, well, in the back of Senpai. I wonder if that translates to fucking, melty blood. Like if she's like hit by Flop's flames, like it does like a lot less damage than it would usually do. It would be kind of broken, but either way. She's doing such a good job of blocking it that I can't even feel its heat, let alone any sparks.
いやでも先輩の体
Noel-sensei and I are safe, but it sure seems like Senpai's body is still on fire.
ありがとうございます。でも熱くないから心配無用です。先ほどの手と違ってこちらは概念魔術ですから、私の体でせき止められます。とにかく安全なのでしばらくこのままで放置しましょう。すぐに倒しに行ってもいいのですが、遠野くんを巻き込みかねませんから、まずは相手の魔力を消耗させますね。
Do you? Dumbfounded, I just nod. She's the exact same senpai I've always known. Even in the midst of this hell, she's still the same person that saved me that night. I'm glad, but at the same time, a little uneasy. If this is a routine work for her, then just how much is there that I still don't know about this person?
そろそろですね。波の魔術師なら一撃で底をつく火力を2分強持続。ただの使徒とは思えない呪力ですが、それもここまででしょう。これ以上はさすがに。
A shadow of doubt creeps into Ciel senpai's voice. Vlav is suffering. Maintaining this river of flame is clearly taking a toll on him. And yet, I feel a growing sense of foreboding. The more that guy uses his blood power, the sicklier and more clouded his eyes become. It's also causing the temperature in the chapel to drop precipitously. That's right. The same thing happened back at the hotel. Arkwright said that this guy is a user of flames, but he's not. He's the opposite. He's not in pain because he's thirsting for blood, but because...
先輩
I call out to the seemingly invincible girl in front of me. It seems that she too has noticed the change in the situation, and her own error. Using the ice, the river of flame disappears. The layers of air creak and groan. He clutches at his chest in agony. His mouth opens wide, as if he's about to vomit up all his internal organs. His paranoia-tinged hatred.
あいつただの使徒なんかじゃないです。アルクエイドが言うにはあいつはその一人だって。
何ですかそれ。
ここは寒い。
Turns into a white wall that blots out the underground chamber. His white curse blows violently. At its core is... something. A dark pit. Even with my eyes, I can't see the bottom of it.
27層。まさか成り立て。そんな大物がどうして今よりにもよってこの町に来るんですか。
Senpai shouts from within the middle of the blizzard. The entire room we stand in has been frozen solid. We shouldn't have tried to make him waste all his blood. This is far more vicious than the flames from earlier. Senpai messed up. She shouldn't have tried to wear down that vampire. On a full stomach, he's a foe that needs to be cut down in one fell swoop.
遠野くん、広間の外に。ここにいると1分持ちません。
そりゃ逃げるけど先輩は。
今の装備ではその相手は。いえ、それでも日中のうちに倒しきれないと。
Within the white storm, Senpai breaks into a run. Her target is that motionless vampire Vlav. Seems like he must be hurting too. He isn't even able to muster a glare in her direction. If he is, then we have a chance. She just needs to get close. If she can get within range of him, we've still got a shot at winning. However, there's almost 30 meters separating Vlav from Senpai. On top of that, he's surrounded by a swarm of the surviving dead. There's no way I could reach him. I'm pretty sure even Noel-sensei would struggle in this situation. She sweeps away such adversity with a single swing of her arm. She fires off 5 needle-thin blades in quick succession. In the blink of an eye, at least 10 of the dead surrounding Vlav are skewered and brought to a halt. She slips right through that opening, closing in on his motionless figure. Victory! Is it me who's certain of victory, or Senpai? Vlav snaps his fingers. Within this white tempest, his actions begets a truly disproportionate reaction. The dead that Senpai brought to a halt explode? At Vlav's signal, the gas accumulated in their stomachs detonates. Whoa. Senpai is nowhere to be seen. She's been completely obscured by both the blizzard and dust. To make matters worse, that vampire has no sense of self-preservation. I take flames that only burn humans and blizzards over this any day. The most terrifying thing that can happen underground is a cave-in. If the pillars supporting the ceiling get blown up, everyone here will be buried alive. The central chamber is collapsing. Vlav didn't think ahead at all. All he did was reflexively attack the approaching enemy. Think, I've only got one chance to make a move. I rush over to Senpai, rush over to Sensei. Okay. Save? What would rushing over to Sensei do? Like, I'm leading towards Senpai, but I don't know, I feel like Sensei would probably just be a red herring. Like, what would she do? I'll rush over to Senpai. Obvious that'll help Senpai. I chase after her as though my life depends on it. Vampires can only make full use of their powers during the night. That's why if we're going to defeat him, it has to be during the day. It has to be now. Even knowing that she's at a disadvantage, Senpai still went to face off against Vlav in order to prevent a repeat of the massacre that happened last night at the hotel. That's why there's no way that I can just run away here. I'm still unhurt, I don't have a headache, and I have stamina to spare. If I could just get close to Vlav one more time, even if I can't kill him, I should at least be able to help Senpai.
Surprise, motherfucker!
At this point, 1 or 2 of the dead are nothing to be afraid of. I ready my knife to cut the lines of the dead that stand in my way.
What the fuck?
Before I can get within range, they explode in a chain reaction. It doesn't make any sense. Even after all the warnings Arkway gave me, I still failed to understand him. At no point did he even entertain the notion of fighting with a human. Her plea comes too late. I wanted to help, but ended up holding her back instead. Caught in the deluge of the earth and debris, Senpai's words are the last thing I hear. Oh well.
12 seconds later.
Rush over to Sensei. Holding back my desire to run over to Senpai, I turn and look back at Noel-sensei. I made a decision to only do what is within my capabilities. Even if I rush over to Senpai, I'd just be caught in the explosion. I pick the unconscious figure of Noel-sensei up from the floor and hoist her onto my back. I can't just leave her here. She'd end up being buried alive if I did. Gasping for air, I sprint toward one of the passageways. Roughly 20 meters to go. The chamber's collapse is inevitable at this point. I ignore the voice in the back of my head that says I can make it if I did sure. Still carrying Noel-sensei on my back, I escape the chamber just like Senpai told me to. That thought was steeped into my own overconfidence. I don't even get a chance to regret it. My final vain struggle was truly pointless. I bring Noel-sensei down off my back and lay her on the ground. Holding her close, I brace myself for the impending collapse of the huge mass above us. A wave of earth and debris comes crashing down. Unable to mount any resistance, Shiki vanishes from this world in the blink of an eye. Oh, what? Opening? Oh, okay. Here's the opening, I guess. What the fuck happened there? I thought we had to rush to Ciel at first, so I do that, and then we die, and then we decide to rush to Sensei, and then we also die? Question mark? Of the two openings, this is my favorite. Like, music-wise, like, visual-wise. Like, watching both of the openings, I feel like this opening made me more excited to play this route compared to the first one. Because of just the shit that went down. But okay. Whatever you say, game. I'll just go with what you say. That had to be intentional, right? Like, they had to, like, tease you there, right? For that to fucking make sense or something, I don't know. But, like, there's no way that, like, tease you with dying twice just for, like, one scenario to, like, lead you to the right way, even though both seem to lead to the same conclusion. Like, holy shit. This is some crazy shit going on. But here we are, second opening, which presumably means we've made the right choice. So we can continue on with the Ciel route. And I think we are officially locked in on this route now, so let's enjoy it. I'm excited. Honestly, I really am.